Hi, in this lesson we are going to learn about conditional statements. Actually, all the programs that we have seen till now, they will be executed statement after statement. So whatever you write, they will be executed, and all of them will be executed unless you encounter some error. But even to write a simple program, for example, we want to check the input is whether divisible by 2 or not. Even there also we need to check whether something is satisfied or not. Then we need to do something. If it is not satisfied, we have to do something else. For example, consider another program. We want to find out whether a given year is leap year or not. So to find out the leap year, we need to check for some condition. If it is satisfied, then we can say it is a leap year. If it is not satisfied, we can say it is not a leap year. Consider another example. We want to make a transaction from our bank account. We can withdraw money only if the amount we want to withdraw is less than the allowable withdrawable amount, right? I mean, if you have 500 in your bank account, if you want to withdraw 700, you should not be able to do that, right? So depending on some condition, whether we need to allow or do not allow something. So all these scenarios, all these things have to execute either task 1 or task 2 based on a condition. Whether that condition is satisfied or not, based on that we have to execute two different tasks. So that is where these conditional statements come into picture. For example, here I have constructed a scanner so that I can read integers. I am asking the user to enter a number between 1 and 10. Now what I want to do is I want to print a statement that the entered number is less than or equal to 5 if it is less than or equal to 5, or I want to say it is greater than 5. Okay, so what we want to do? So we want to say based on the input value, we want to say whether it is less than or equal to 5, or we want to say it is greater than 5. Okay, for example, just let's consider this one. We want to say we want to print this statement only if the entered value is less than or equal to 5. How can we write that? So if something is true, so inside the brackets we have to give some condition whether it should be true or false. If something is true, I want to execute this statement. Okay, so how can I write a Boolean expression? I can simply say input value less than or equal to 5, right? This is a relation operator. The output of relation operator, or the value of this expression, is going to be a Boolean value. So that is the reason the if is accepting this. If you write 2, it won't accept. So basically what we always need a Boolean value inside if condition. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, if the input value is less than or equal to 5, it should execute this statement. So let's run it and see for ourselves whether it is doing or not. Okay, I'm entering 5. Okay, then it is printing 5 is less than or equal to 5. That is good. I don't want to run remaining statements unless we go there, so I cancelled it. Okay, so if it is not less than or equal to 5, I want to print this statement. So if it is true, print this one, else print this one. So what we want to write is else print this one. Okay, let's go ahead and execute. Okay, in this case I am going to give 7. So the message is 7 is greater than 5. So obviously the second one is got executed. So this is how we write if else condition, but we always need to properly indent it. Okay, now I did the reformatting. So if you see, these statements are included in brackets. So this is what is called a block. Okay, everything that starts from curly braces and ends with its corresponding closing curly braces is called a block. So here, if this statement is true, execute this block, else execute this block. As we have previously seen, else is optional. You don't need to write else, but most of the cases we may need to write else. Like if it is not true, do so and so. So that is what we are doing here. Okay, this is very simple to understand. All that we need to do is, if a Boolean expression, then execute this block, else execute this block. Okay, that is about if else, simple if or an if else. Okay, let's move on. In this case, we are asking the user to enter a number between 1 and 50, or let's say it is only between 1 and 30. So if it is between 1 and 10, we will say it is between 1 and 10. If it is between 11 and 20, we will say it is between 11 and 20. Otherwise, we will check whether it is between 21 and 30. We will say it is between 21 and 30. So here, what we do? First, we write if input value greater than or equal to 10, not equal to 10, greater than or equal to 10, and we are using shortcut and input value less than or equal to 10. This is what we want to do. In this case, we want to print is between 1 and 10. What is between 1 and 10? Input value. Okay, so else. Okay, in this case, we want to check first whether it is between 11 and 20. If input value greater than or equal to 11 and input value what do we want to print? We want to print is between 11 and 20. Else we want to check again whether it is between 21 and 30 or not. If input value greater than or equal to 21 and else, this is a default else. In this case, we want to say okay, let's go ahead and execute this. Okay, 7 is greater than 5. Now I am entering 21. So it is saying 21 is between 21 and 30. That is good, right? Okay, let's go ahead and see this one again. So basically we are checking for a condition. If this is so, I want to print it. Else, only else, right? I mean, if it is not true, then only I want to execute this block. Everything starting from here to here. If it is between 1 and 10, I don't need to check any of these things, whether it is between 11 and 20, 21 to 30, right? Okay, so only if it is not between 1 and 10, it is going to execute this block. Then first I am checking whether it is between 11 and 20 or not. If it is so, I am printing it. Only if it is not between 11 and 20, then only I am checking this. Okay, if it is between 11 and 20, I don't need to go further. I can simply stop it here. I don't need to go for else. Okay, say it is not even between 11 and 20. Then I will go to else and I will check whether it is between 21 and 30. If that is the case, I won't go to else at all. I will just print it is between 21 and 30. If it is not there, then I am printing a default message saying it is not between 1 and 30. Okay, this is very good example. Actually, this is how we need to write if and else, but this is very cumbersome, right? If you see, there are many layers, and it is somewhat difficult to understand as well. Not difficult, but this is not the preferred way of writing. We can simplify it. How can we simplify it? Okay, whatever is between else and if, these things we can remove, basically this opening brace and this closing brace, and we can simply write else if. Okay, we can do the same thing for here also. It is a simple else if. Okay, let's reformat it. Okay, this is how it looks. If this condition is true, execute this block. Else, if this condition is true, execute this block. Else, if this condition is true, execute this block. And else, this is the default else. Okay, execute this statement. As I said, else is optional, so you don't need to include this one. Okay, but it is better to include this one because there is a default condition, like the entered value is not between 1 and 30. In all those scenarios, we want to print this. Okay, let's see one more example. Before that, let's execute, because we have modified the code. We want to see whether it is working or not. Okay, this time 3 is between 1 and 5. I am printing 29. It should be between 21 and 30. Now, okay, let's look at the other one. Okay, enter a value between 1 and 100. Here, what I want to do is, I want to check whether it is divisible by 7 or not. So, input value percentile 7. So this is going to give me the remainder. If the remainder is 0, then I can say it is divisible, right? Okay, what is divisible? Input value. Else I can print that it is not divisible. Okay, let's see this example as well. 9 is greater than 5. 1 is between 1 and 10, and 47 is not divisible by 7. So these are the cases. Okay, so if there is only one statement that needs to be executed in the block, then we can remove these. We don't need to include these braces because the block is having only one statement. So is the case with else. Okay, because this else block is having only one statement, we don't need to include those braces. There is no compile time error. Also, there is no runtime error. Okay, 11 is not divisible by 7. Okay, but this way of writing is not preferred, because if tomorrow some person comes and starts writing something here, okay, so the code is breaking, then he has to include double quotes. Otherwise, in this case, okay, but we are going to see some other constructs, and they will perform everything wrong if these braces are missing when they are required. So we don't want to do that. So everything that should be executed, if a condition is satisfied, we want to include in block. Also, everything that should be executed if the condition is false will be included in block. That is all about if else, and if else chain. I mean, whatever we are seeing here, if else if. Please remember, else is always optional, and the syntax of if else is very simple. If condition, execute a block, else execute a block. Okay, thank you for watching. Please do some practice with this if and else. You can write some other programs, like whether a given year is leap year or not. So those kind of programs you can write, because now you know the if statement. Also, you know how to read the input. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share it with others.